Another exclusive title hits PSVR2 tomorrow, and this one is all about skiing. Do you guys remember Snow Scout, Tuner Max Media skiing adventure game that launched last September? A lot of people enjoyed that game. Some even called it a hidden gem. But if you're one of those guys who likes Snow Scout, then I'm happy to report that in just 24 hours you will be able to play its spin-off, called 90s Extreme Skiing. This one is gonna cost you 14.99 USD, 14.99 euros, and probably around 12.99 or 12.49 pounds if you live in the UK. We're still not sure yet, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Either ways, like I said, 90s Extreme Skiing is an exclusive PSVR2 title. It's a single-player game that has 20 courses across 8 skiing areas currently, and I say currently because the developer plans to add more free content later, such as new courses, new features like new trick types, downloadable ghost times, or even real-time multiplayer is possible. Now of course, all added content will likely lead to a rise in base price as new tracks and features are added, so if 90s Extreme Skiing seems like a game you might be interested in, then I'd highly recommend to get it right now, and that way, you'll be having the better deal. So what is the concept of 90s Extreme Skiing? Well, in this game you will be racing against the clock, doing tricks on 20 different courses, and your objective is to meet certain goals like target times or trick scores in order to gain medals. You can't unlock a new race without gaining a certain number of medals, and trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks, especially when you're just getting started and you still haven't figured out how to control your sticks or poles or whatever you want to call them. I think I spent like 40 minutes before I could unlock my first race, so yeah, this is not going to be a walk in the park, which is certainly a good thing, because you wouldn't want to finish this game in like 2 hours, right? I mean, the developer is saying that the Platinum Trophy takes approximately 3 to 4 hours of playtime to unlock, but I seriously doubt that's the case, unless you played a lot of Snow Scout, and you're somehow a VR skiing expert. But for the rest of us, average gamer, I think it's gonna take a lot more than that to finish the game and get that Platinum Trophy. I haven't finished the game yet, by the way, mainly because I have a lot on my plate these days, and this game is really exhausting. I played it for a couple of hours, and after I put my headset down, I felt like I was more tired than if I had actually skied in real life. Yeah, that's how tiring it is. So if you want a decent challenge, a tons of replayability value, a good exercise, and if you love skiing, then this is definitely the right game for you. In terms of gameplay, like I said, it feels very difficult to master at first, but don't give up. Once you get the hang of it, it will be pure fun. Yes, there is a learning curve here, especially if you never played Snow Scout, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Getting back to unlocking the necessary medals to progress, you can also collect the MEDAL letters on each track to gain an additional medal, or find CDs that will unlock more choices of music. To improve your times, you can battle visualizations of your own race times in the form of ghosts, so in a way you will be competing against yourself, and you can also compare your skills on the online leaderboards. Graphically speaking, the game looks like your typical VR game unfortunately. Nothing special here. The lighting seems off, it doesn't look that sharp, although the developer is saying that it runs in display native resolution. The textures and assets aren't high quality, and of course it wouldn't be a VR game if it doesn't show visible aliasing. So overall, I would say the image quality of 90s Extreme Skiing is average at best. However, I should mention that you're probably going to play a better looking version of the game, as the developer promises that they will be adding more details and props to various levels and improving or adding light baking in all levels in a significant day 1 patch. On the flip side, and just like Snow Scout, the game runs at a native 90 frames per second without reprojection, and it offers controller and head haptics, which I found to be really nice. What I did not find to be very nice, however, is the longer than expected loading times. I mean, ideally, there would be no loading times since we all know the PS5 SSD is more than capable of eliminating them. But I've come to accept that all VR games have loading times. However, in 90s Extreme Skiing, I did feel that they were longer than usual. Something else that annoyed me a bit was the commentator who keeps repeating the same lines over and over again, but then again, both loading times and the commentator should be improved with the day 1 patch, as the developer promises to reduce the loading times for the level selection menu and to add more lines for the commentator, which by the way, expect a lot of over-the-top voiceovers. I mean, just like the developer describes it, at its core the game is part tribute, part parody of the over-the-top extreme winter sports games of the 1990s, like Cool Borders for example. So I guess no surprises there. The last thing I want to add is that unfortunately the game doesn't offer any sort of PS5 Pro enhancements, and it looks like it won't in the future, as there is currently no plans for such a thing. So, 90s extreme skiing, what's the verdict? Well, if you enjoyed Snow Scout, then I would say this is a no-brainer. Seriously, buy this game, you're going to have a lot of fun with it, especially if Tuner Max adds real-time multiplayer. I feel like that's the thing that will take this game to a whole new level. But even as a single-player experience, this is still a very fun game. It has a decent variety, I mean all the maps look kinda the same, and yet they're very different. You'll understand this when you get your hands on the game. It's very challenging at times, and it has a great replayability value. And although the game doesn't look special and doesn't sound great either, the super fun gameplay makes up for all of that and makes 90s Extreme Skiing a welcome addition to the amazing lineup of PSVR2 exclusives. And that's gonna have to do it for this review, guys. If you enjoyed it, if you found it informative, and for more PSVR2 news, reviews, and discussions, make sure you stick with MBG.
Excellent. Another race